Well, hello again, everybody. This is the Deadhead Rev. It's Andy Campbell, and I want to welcome you to the podcast here. A lovely view of heaven with the Deadhead Rev. That's me. I'm located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're just getting this podcast thing started, and we're hoping to get better every day. And I appreciate you and appreciate you tuning in. And if you can subscribe, if you can say that you like us, leave some comments, anything that you'd like to do. What we do here on this show is each week we're going to talk about a different song. We're going to talk about the lyrics, the spirituality, a little bit of the history of the song. Going to have a guest who kind of selected that song. That's how this is working. And I'm going to invite them to tell some of their stories, why that song means so much to them, all of those good particular details. Maybe get them to tell some road stories, maybe things they would or would not want their parents or children to know. You never know. We all have some of those in our past, and I know I'm going to share some of mine as we go along down this road. So anyway, I've been thinking about this idea of a podcast, and how is this done? This isn't something that I ever really considered before. This is a new medium, and I've been looking at people who do podcasts, and I listen to them mostly. And the idea of watching them, hasn't been as big of a deal, but there is one guy that I watch, and it's a sports podcast. You would think it would be something. It's a sports business podcast called Nothing Personal with David Sampson, and I like what he does. He seems to be himself. He seems to do it pretty much off the cuff. The other thing he does is he talks to his producer, Matt Coca, uh, quite frequently during the podcast, and so that's one of the things that I like about this. Is I've got a new friend, Reverend Ian Lynch, that lives out in Maine, and he is the producer. Bird song, I call him, because he goes out and does bird watching. Love that he loves to do that. Ian, I don't know if you know this, but I'm terrified of birds. People who here know that. I just don't care for them very much. But hey, more power to you for going out and seeing them. But anyway, trying to figure out what do you do with the podcast? And I'm going to work to make it engaging. I'm going to work to make it entertaining. I'm going to work so you want to come back and watch the next one. And that's the big thing that I'm going to do. So suggestions, criticisms, as long as it's nothing with self-harm, please don't go there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this and talking some more about the different songs. One of the great things is the different guests that are going to be on this show. I put out a plea on a Facebook post and said, if you're interested in talking to me on a podcast, let me know. And I mean, the response has been overwhelming. And so I've asked each individual to choose their own song. Obviously, I'm going to run out of songs before too long, but it's been kind of fun knowing that we haven't had any real duplications as of yet. So. With nothing left to do. Hello again, everybody. This is Reverend Andy Campbell with my friend, Reverend Ian Lynch, and this is A Lovely View of Heaven. I am the Deadhead Rev. This is our podcast where we talk about the intersection of our faith and our love of the music of the Grateful Dead and the Jerry Garcia Band, everything associated with it. And today is part 2 of our special 2-part episode. How do you feel about doing a second part here, Ian?
I feel like I'm just in the middle of a long jam and I'm spinning and having a good time and wondering what's next and saying, when are they going to break out into Franklin's Tower, maybe?
You spoiled it. Obviously, part 1 was helping the way. I don't think we could do a Slipknot, necessarily a full episode, but certainly this got divided into 2 out of the great necessity that we had so much material to work with from our guest. And I hope you were able to see part 1 and our friend Manya and her talk about her life as a deadhead and unique perspective. So if you get a chance, make sure you do go back and watch that episode. In fact, go back and watch all of our episodes. So we're going to move into a second part. And she was kind enough, or it kind of worked that in our conversation, that there was a natural segue that said, here's a point where we can kind of start up again. So talking about Franklin's Tower a little bit. And Ian, I appreciate you for making that happen because I would be completely clueless how to take what that was and divide it up into 2. And I appreciate you.
The magic of editing. Just
The magic. Well, let's go ahead and get on to it and let's talk with Manya again. And we're going to get on to Franklin's Tower. the repertoire always was. It was released in 1975 on the Blues for Allah album, and the Help on the Way was also, part of that. And, that became part of the repertoire, the Help on the Way, Slipknot into Franklin's Tower Jam. And, you knew when you were getting the beginning of Help on the Way that at the end of that journey, you were going to be rolling away to do. And that just made it so much fun at those concerts and those shows. And I know, I go back through the repertoire. I know I got to hear that. I think they opened with it at one of the Deer Creek shows I went to and was fortunate enough to hear it. But it's just such a great jam, and so many of the lyrics that go through it have such meaning. Lot of things that I see right away in it. Let me do a little editing thing here. That I see in the lyrics when I read what Robert Hundo wrote, and the idea of your eyes looking through your mother's face, another time's forgotten space, your eyes look through your mother's face. As children, we all see the world through our parents' eyes, don't we? And it's almost a reflection of it. And that's how we begin to see the world, and not just a parent, but it's almost an ancestral tie, something that goes beyond just that one generational. It's almost a generational thing where we're able to recognize the world. And indeed, that's what brings us to where we are, is our past and our families, whether we want to admit it or we, that's part of what makes up who we are. Even history we don't know about has shaped us. The idea of the world, another time's forgotten space. By the way, Forgotten Space, great cover band out of Dallas. Great cover band, Jerry. Does some great, wonderful Grateful Dead tunes. And then the next line, it talks about the wildflower seed on the sand and stone. Immediately, I think of, the parables of sowing seeds and the different places that seed will last. Scripturally, it just jumped out at me. Anytime I hear about seeds, I think of that. And, seeds are the things, that give us rebirth. It's life, and such a beautiful part of the, to get all Lion King on this circle of lifetime type things, because it is part of that circle, and we need the seeds to keep blooming in life and keep going. And then it goes to that hook line, may the four winds blow you safely home, when we go into roll away the dew, roll away the dew. The four winds, you can find references to that not only in the Bible, but in so many other, in poetry and what have you, north, south, east, west winds that make up the world, that move things around, with the idea of not knowing which way the wind blows and not telling where it comes from. To me, the idea of, faith is, I can't point to the wind, but I know of its existence because I feel it. And it's the same way with my faith. And so that's one of the things that's really resonated with me with this. And then we get to the bell, the idea at Franklin's Tower. There hangs a bell, and it can ring, turn night to day, ring like fire when you lose your way. And we go back to the roll away the dew. That image of the bell, church bells, of course, come to mind, but this bell seems to be a symbol of something powerful. In Scripture, you have the story of the Tower of Babel, which doesn't necessarily end well for the people. But this is Franklin's Tower, and I'm not quite sure who Franklin is. There's a definition of a Franklin being a person that would have been a landowner. But evidently, whoever this person is, they maybe have built a watchtower. And there is a beautiful parable in Isaiah about in a vineyard building a watchtower. But this is the bell, and its ability to change. The ringing of the bell turning night to day. It's kind of a fascinating way to look at something. This bell and its ringing is transformative. It's life-saving. Ring like fire when you lose your way. It brings you light when you're lost in the darkness. And God help the child that rings that bell. That's the other thing is we know that it takes courage and it takes someone brave. And the idea that we have to have hope, and that transformative power comes in that next line when we talk about it. May have one good ring left. We can't tell. Then a beautiful line that all of us love, one watch by night, one watch by day. If you get confused, listen to the music play. Well, that's always good advice, isn't it? We know in the live versions usually is accompanied by just a great jam, and why not? It's a great line. And then we come to the end of it. Some come to laugh the past away. Some come to make it just one more day. Whichever way your pleasure tends, if you plant ice, you're going to harvest wind. The idea that some come to laugh their past away, some come to make it just one more day, to me seems like the Franklin's Tower, if that's where they're coming to, it seems like a place of sanctuary, doesn't it? It seems like a place where there's redemption, where we don't suffer from the past, that we don't carry the past with us, but rather we come to that tower and we laugh it away. And it's a joyous thing to think, yeah, what a dumb, stupid thing I did then. And, it's a good feeling. You can confess and forgiveness. That's when you truly get to laugh the past away, and then contrasted with those who come just to make it for one more day, just for one more day. And then, of course, the people who are going to inherit the wind. That's to me the harvest of it. We then have the four-lane hounds and the lighthouse keep and the wildflower seeds coming back again. And may the four winds blow you home, roll away the dew, roll away the dew. It's just a beautiful spiritual look at things. They're just kind of amazing, kind of an amazing tune. One of the things that I really have resonated with me was the idea of planting ice and harvesting wind. I've wrestled with that for quite some time. We certainly, understand the images of fire and heat, but that image of ice, of being something that you would hold on to and plant into the ground, or is it something that we plant in one another, or is it an iciness that we plant within ourselves? I think sometimes that it's maybe all of those at the same time, that kind of meaning. And then the harvest of wind, the harvest of wind. You can't harvest it to keep for yourself. Lately, I guess we are trying to harvest the wind and make something of it, which is a good thing, I suppose. Franklin's Tower to me is just such a beautiful, soulful song. The rolling away of the dew. We haven't really touched on that, but that's the jam, the tagline that goes with it. Rolling away the dew. You better roll away the dew. We find dew in the morning. We find dew in something fresh and a new day and a change of seasons. Dew is the springtime. Dew is moisture that seems to come when there isn't rain, when it isn't visibly falling, that we still see it. And the dew and the tower and a lighthouse, there is an image of a seaside almost with this tower, the lighthouse and the four winds. So a lot of water imagery as well that I find in this tune. Beautiful, beautiful lyrics. Beautiful lyrics. I love the fact that it is, was such a popular song, such a big part of the repertoire that they had over the years. Hopefully you have a favorite version of that, or a good version of Franklin's Tower. I've gone down the rabbit hole of looking on certain forums, and people will share their favorite versions. And I'm going to try to listen to every one of them, anybody that shares them with me. And so we're going to find a good version of this song. My guest that will be coming to talk about Franklin's Tower will certainly be sharing maybe a version that they love, and perhaps we'll be able to listen to it. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Deadhead Rev, A Lovely View of Heaven, as we continue our podcast series talking about the wonderful tunes of the Grateful Dead. Please subscribe. Please share with your friends. We'll look forward to doing a lot more with this. Before I go, I want to share something with you. I got a new shirt. My birthday's coming up. I'm filming this 2 days. 3 days of my birthday. And so by the time this gets aired, we'll be past my birthday. But thank you if you are so kind to recognize it. And my wife got me this beautiful shirt with the Steely, and it has the Bertha embedded into it, the skeleton. And I told her that she, ought to be so thankful that she's married to a deadhead. It makes it easy to buy for me. I don't know if you've ever known that about having a deadhead friend. That people, I've got a deadhead friend. I saw this with a dancing bear on it. I've got to have it. So I want to give a shout out also to the tapestry behind me with the bears and the swirl, to my wonderful friend, Robin. Robin is an elder at my church. And not only has she gotten this, she's been very supportive. She and her sister, Tracy, got me a customized deadhead license plate that you'll probably see later on. So, I love it. I love seeing those type of things and having them share it. Deadheads are easy to buy for. And I will tell you, there's all kinds of places that are going to be out there looking to sell you things for folks like me. And I just love every bit of it. So shout out to Robin for everything she did. And I love my beautiful wife, and, such a great shirt. So I told her I'll have to wear it for one of the early podcasts. You've been some time to get it to. Again, thank you for coming, and I am grateful for each and every one of you. Every once in a while, you show the light in the strangest of places.
Another time's forgotten space. Your eyes looked from your mother's face. Wildflower seed in the sand and stone. May the falling rose you safely home. Roll away the dew. Roll away the dew. Roll away the dew. Tell you where the phones dwell. Fragrance tower that hangs a bell. And it can ring both night and day. Ring like fire if you lose your way. Roll away the dew. Roll away the dew. Roll away the dew. that rings that bell. Have one good ring, baby, you can't get one watch by night, one watch by day. If you get confused, listen to the music play. Sometimes the laughs pass away. Sometimes to make it just one more day. Whichever way your pleasure turns, if you play nice, you're gonna harm a swing. Roll away the June. Roll away the June. Roll away the June. You better roll away the June. Tell you where the phones sleep, like falling hounds to Lighthouse Keep. Wildflower seed in the sand and wind. May the fall and roll you home again. Oh, roll away, you better roll away the dew. I want you to roll away the dew. You better roll away the dew. You better roll away the dew. Roll away, you better roll away the dew. Roll away the dew. You better roll away the dew.
decided, you told me this was a song that meant an awful lot to you. Tell me why you feel that way.
Okay, well, when I was that young hippy dippy 19-year-old, I felt like every show I got to, those boys were going to play the songs I exactly needed to hear. So I would go with this open mind of what did I need to hear this year to make myself psychically ready. Some years were better than others, but I always, at some point, especially those 3 Omni shows back to back, at some point they'd slip a Franklin in there for me. And of course, Help Slipknot Franklin was usually in a row. There's just something about the 3 together, but if all I get is the one, Franklin's Tower, because it always reminds me to listen to my inner soul. It will ring both night and day if I lose my way. And as an artist and a woman, a lot of my intuition is me listening to the voice and me listening to the artist's muse, opening myself up to that and allowing the universe and the flow to kind of guide me. I am not a corporate person. I am not a business person. I would say the reason I think the Dead and I get along so well is because I'm more empathic. And my job as I've aged in this band is really, I think I'm like mitochondria in this huge organism that my only job is to just dance and magnify the energy and send it back at them. And then they crank on it and send it back out. And then we just radiate it back at them. And I feel like that energy flow that Mickey Hart's drums and Bill's drums help pack a room and give us a space to do it. And we are just like, they're playing the instruments, but I really feel like as a human sound piece in it, I'm part of that band too. And I'm being played. And I can feel the entrainment of my body that by the second set, I am just in tune with that drum set. I am hooked in like I'm on a monitor connected straight to the beam. And I just don't stop. I don't leave my seat except to dance. There is no leaving to go pee. I am in the show until the last second.
You don't have
Because
that
I need
go-to
it.
song that you're like, oh, I can deal without that one. I got a couple friends that have. And it always
I
seems to
thought the
be
law and the law won.
Victim of the Crime is one I know that people say they'll go.
Yeah. There's definitely bathroom songs like
Gotcha.
Tennessee Jed. I'm from Kentucky. Tennessee Jed kind of.
My wife, being from Georgia, feels the same way when she hears that song. You know,
It's okay. You know what? My boyfriend in college was black, and he and I used to joke. The Saturday nights he would avoid because that would be the night that they would rip out all the country music,
okay.
and he would get his, fringe jacket out and be like, "Okay, it's Saturday night. Here we go.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be a yeehaw."
It's going to be a yeehaw. Got it.
That's why everybody's loving Billy Strings, and I think Billy is a strong player.
Right.
But as a feminist and a diversity person, I don't need any more white male energy in this band.
I'm going to plug
Or
another
that
artist.
crowd.
I'm going to plug another artist and asked if you know Sarah Jarosz.
No.
Jarosz. Check her out. I think you'll enjoy her.
Okay.
Very young, very talented, multiple Grammys already. Yeah, she's a delightful person to listen to. You talked about the whole jam of, Help on the Way, Slipknot, and Franklin's Tower. And I wanted to share, the one thing I've always felt is I can often jump to the end of the song when I hear the first notes and go, oh my gosh, we're going to end with that. And so I can hear those first, distinctive licks of Help on the Way. And I know we're going to finish Rolling Away the Dew. Yeah. And it's just like, I'm there already, and so it's knowing how it's going to end. I get to enjoy the ride kind of.
Right.
And
Right.
to me, it's similar.
That's why every time they play Sugar Magnolia, I'm like, okay, yeah, but
A sunshine daydream. I'm going to get on that part. Well, it's like when you're going to get a Scarlet Fire, those kind of things. And
oh yeah,
we all know how much fun it is to have we'd all be upset if they played China Cat Sunflower and didn't play I Know You're Writer.
right.
It'd be like, saying a knock knock joke and somebody saying who's there and we didn't finish.
And the beauty of this music is, Post Jerry, it's so special that it's getting played and loved so much again, and that new fans are coming,
Oh yeah.
and the feelings are just as deep and rich. So let's keep this magical dragon alive and keep plugging in new musicians and feeding this energy. Because I really believe people come out of shows with a whole different vibration.
I can tell you that I had a feeling like you did about the band. And it was when I was on my way home. I was getting ready to go to a show that night at Deer Creek, and it got canceled because of the people that broke in.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
after that happened, there was a show that the following night, and I had some really good seats. I was in the restaurant business at the time, and had the beer vendor connection. So I had some pretty good seats for concerts, and it was canceled. And I just was like, I was like, man. And
Yeah, it's like when the crowd changed, the band had to pull back emotionally. Who the hell were bad people? Like, that's when we should have been self-policing.
yeah,
And
we did have a responsibility, but we always had that idea of everybody was okay to do their own thing, or at least we believed that until people started doing their own thing,
Right.
which wasn't what, it wasn't. It's always that expectations that we want to expect ourselves out of others. And I think that was maybe something that we did during that time as early Deadheads. I will tell you, coming back into it, going to Dead and Company, for the first time, I saw Phil Lesh and Friends. I saw Bob Weir once, I saw some other incarnations. I didn't do further other ones, but I came back with a friend this past summer at Deer Creek to see Dead and Company. And that friendly vibe was back,
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt
I
good.
noticed a lot more friendly vibes.
And what I really loved was, I'm there with my friend and his wife and his cousin. They're playing great, and I'm finally giving into, what, John Mayer, this is your stuff.
Right.
Keep it going. But there were these 4 girls that I swear that I thought they might have been Halloween costume out of the movie Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan. I mean, they were that
Right.
young and
Yeah.
dressed like
Oh,
that.
there's
And
some
it was like,
weird new blood in there.
and it was like, and they were jamming and enjoying it, just having a great time. And I looked at it, I said, it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine.
There's so many Grateful Dead cover bands. And,
Yes.
and I remember I saw my first one in the 80s. I've seen cover bands of a band in the 80s, and now there's hundreds of them. Local one called Forgotten Space, by the way, from Franklin's Tower. They
Nice.
play out of Dallas and they come here. They also, a lot of their members do another incarnation of a group called Rosebud, which is Jerry Garcia Band. So,
Ooh, okay.
yeah, so Jerry Garcia Band cover bands, all of the Dead versions. There's a bluegrass Grateful Dead band that I am friends with here in Tulsa. There's a group coming soon called Steely Dan that they incorporate
Ooh.
Steely Dan music in Grateful Dead. And I recently saw One Way Trucking here in Tulsa, Allman Brothers and Grateful music.
Wow.
This isn't going
That'll
to
make my
stop
husband
anytime
happy.
soon. Yeah, this isn't going to stop anytime soon.
I don't think so. I just love that we moved into like apprenticeships, senior mentoring, let's keep the legacy going aspect. I think Bob and his symphonies are amazing. If you get the chance, go to the symphony. You can feel the room lit.
I actually had
Right.
to make a promise after the Sphere VIP package that I wouldn't buy any concert tickets again for a little while. So.
Ever again. Well, maybe I'll find
No,
one and send it to you.
that might have been said. Are you done? And I was like, maybe. Well, the other thing I will tell you is I recently just finished an application for a clergy renewal grant that I'm hoping to go out to the University of California, Santa Cruz to study the archives of the bank. So
Ooh.
that might be another.
Take me with you. I'll be your research assistant.
I don't think Sandy would approve, but I appreciate the offer. Oh, one Georgia girl was enough in my life.
Okay. All right. I love to look through all the flat files and,
don't know what I'm going to find, but I'm going to find. I don't know what I'm going to find, but I'm going to go for it for sure.
yes.
It's going to be. Well, listen, we have gone a lot over the allotted time. We may actually have to make this a 2-part podcast. And
We
I
could
say
do that.
in all seriousness, because we're getting pretty close. You have been a delightful guest, and I appreciate the fact that it was people who reached out to me when I started this idea. Hey, I'm going to be an openly deadhead minister, and among other things, it's not all we do, but at Yale Avenue Christian Church. But I appreciate you following along and contributing to this. We don't know where it's going to go. Again,
Well, let's keep going.
we're
Further.
We'll keep things going on. And I appreciate you taking the time out for today and visiting.
Yes,
with
sir.
And we'll talk again soon. And again, trying to get those tickets for Memorial Day weekend. I plan on wearing my Grateful Dead stole to the one Sunday show at the Spheres.
Oh, you're going to a Sunday show.
The only one they have. Yeah, it's the only one they have. And,
That is going to be the one. Do you know if they're doing any nugs? That's
I
my
don't think
friends
so.
and I are like,
it doesn't
just
look like
stream
it.
one.
Well, who knows what they'll do? I don't know what they can do with that experience at that place. And I did
Yeah,
get
just
4
watching because
seats.
I did do U2. They hold your posters. So you can buy them on your way in, put them at coat check, and they hold them for you till the end of the show.
Gotcha.
Yay. And they love you. The staff is amazing. You're going to get every penny's worth.
Well, I hope so. I mean, my son has taught me that experiences matter, more than things. And there's
Absolutely.
and getting up in the years, I'm looking forward to it. And that's also the clergy, that's going to be an experience, and potentially writing a book. I don't care if anybody buys it, but if I get one written, that will be an experience.
Oh, just go look at some of the YouTube footage online of
Yeah.
them singing Beautiful Day when all those animals were broadcast up on that ceiling. Those are animals from Nevada before Las Vegas.
Wow.
So those are all the native creatures that would be living there now.
Well, I'm going to be on the
Unbelievable.
floor for all 3 shows, so I'm going to have a complete view of everything.
I may come pick you up in a little dustpan with a broom. We won't have any energy to walk when you get out of there at the 3rd day.
Well, and the bad part isn't, you and I had a discussion beforehand that I'm from Indianapolis. That morning before, I'm going to be watching my favorite automobile race in some Las Vegas casino, and that'll be enough of adrenaline rush like it is every year. That someday I'll tell you how many crazy Indy 500 stories versus Grateful Dead stories. So,
Oh boy.
all those good
I
ones.
bet there's
Oh, yeah. crazy stuff.
infield stories for sure.
Infield, the whole month. If you grew up there, you got to go to practice all month long. It was $1 to get in. And I'll just say, as long as you didn't have fights, the police looked the other way. They pretty much got away with everything. And it was just a
I
great
love the
time.
80s.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good team. We
Good
got away
times.
with an awful lot. And there were no cell phone cameras to prove that anything I just maybe mentioned ever happened.
I'm so glad I was a deadhead in the 80s, buddy, because I
Yeah.
would have taken pictures of every stupid thing I was doing.
Well, I'm hoping I can enjoy the sphere and not take too many pictures.
Yeah, just go experience. But as you go into the building, whip your camera out because there isn't 1 inch of that building that you're not, just your jaws on the ground and you're,
Well, evidently I get the immersion experience that I can go to during the day that you can go in and see.
yeah,
all
there's
this.
like some kind of movie that they'll show.
Yeah,
You
and
can
I might
watch a documentary.
I might do that while my friend that's going to meet me there is renting a Lamborghini to go drive something on the strip. I don't know. Maybe a helicopter. Who knows what we'll do?
That's it. Well,
Vanya,
if you meet up with Bobby, please tell him to stay out of the heat. You two hydrate. Las
Of
Vegas
course.
is hot in June.
Yes. Manya, thank you so much for being here. You've been an absolute delight, and we'll talk again soon. We'll talk.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate your patience and waiting for me to get this all together to make it happen. And
Thank you for all you're doing.
well, I'm having a blast. It's not like
Good,
this is
'cause
work on me. So,
I got somebody to visit in Oklahoma now. This is awesome.
yes.
I
Goodbye.
make very good banana bread.
Okay. I'll let you know when we have that church pitch in.
Okay.
Thank you so
And I'm
much.
an artist, so I could come paint a mural in your nursery or something.
Yeah, we may have to have your help there. We can do that.
Okay.
Thank you
That's it.
so much. I appreciate it. Again, this is Andy Campbell, Reverend Andy Campbell, the Deadhead Rev, and this is A Lovely View of Heaven, our podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please comment, subscribe, share it with other people. We'll see you in future podcasts, and let us know if you want to be a guest. Let me know. Drop me a line if there's a particular song that you want to talk about. Let us know, and we'll set you up. Again, this is the Deadhead Rev signing off. Well, every time that I hear somebody talk about the lyrics of a song, it obviously clears up any confusion that I may ever have about any of those lyrics. That interview and all of it made everything crystal clear.
Absolutely.
Anybody have any questions? Yeah. Isn't it amazing how each time you talk about one of the songs that it is like scripture or some, reading poetry or anything that you go back and reread, and you go back and reread it because it's important to you. There was an emotion, but you find yourself in a different place
Yeah.
when you revisit and the change it has. So what a great song to talk about. What a great guest Manya
Yeah.
was. I can't thank her enough. And I do hope I get to see her in person sometime, maybe down there in Georgia. I got some friends who I could go visit down there. So, Ian, what did you have to think about her talk?
I mean, yeah, she was just so powerful. It's interesting, isn't it, when we meet people this way, how we're flat in these two dimensions, but not flat at all. With the desire to flesh it out, to make it 3D. It really makes us want to connect. Um, there's something of a mystery there, isn't there? There's something about how we connect that we don't need. We don't need the physical. We long for it because we're physical beings. To me, it kind of speaks about the incarnation, right? God became one of us, took on the flesh. That's at the heart of our story. I can't explain it to you. I can experience it because I'm having a human experience. But what do they say? We're not human beings. We're human doings, or we're spiritual beings having a human experience, right? That we're doing this, and so we have lots of questions. I like what you say about when you revisit something that's familiar to you, you read it again, you come up with new questions. The question then is, what do you do with the question, right? We just got past Easter recently, and I haven't really thought about those folded linens. Why are they folded? Who folded them? Right? All kinds of questions. Are we supposed to know? If we need to know, why isn't it in the story? Right? Why doesn't it say, and Jesus got up and folded his linens because his mother taught him always to make the bed when you get out of bed? I mean, that would answer it, and we'd know. Because of course, just like you say, the Grateful Dead songs are perfectly clear. Scripture's perfectly clear, right? As the Bible clearly
yeah.
says. Enough people say that, it must be true, right?
That's one of the most frustrating pet peeves I have. Anytime somebody says, well, the Bible clear about, you've never read it. Yeah. Not all of it. You've read just a small portion because it's so easy to, take something that is a living document that speaks to us anew every time and trying to pigeonhole it someplace. And I understand the temptation of that because it seems easier to think you have answers rather than live within the questions and the mysteries of life and the paradoxes
Right.
that we, have every day, and understanding what we experience and the way we go through life. We don't have to have all of the answers. In fact, it's sometimes better to live within those questions. And I think Manya is great about that. I don't see her as a person who has to have, you know, clarity about everything. She's okay with um, being an evolving earthling, kind of
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
as we all should be.
Right. Well, we are whether we acknowledge it or not, right? We all evolve. We live and grow and die, and something happens after death. We remember those who have gone before us. I I don't know what resurrection looks like, particularly like what did the body that Jesus took on after death look like? Uh, it didn't look like
Evidently, it was a garden.
a what? A garden.
Evidently, he looked like a gardener.
Right. He did and Mary, who knew him well, who was going to the tomb to anoint his body, did not recognize him.
Couldn't re-
There's something powerful in this story there. We say, well, why didn't she? Or I like to ask the question, when did she? Because she does recognize him, and it's when he says her name. It's about connection and
it just,
relationship. You know?
it just occurred to me, that maybe this help on the way to Franklin's Tower is the Friday, Sunday,
Hmm.
and Slipknot is Saturday.
The vigil
Slipknot is that position
where
where
you don't know anything.
nothing is said,
Yeah.
nothing is said,
Yeah.
and that's where, and it was just something happened on Saturday,
There,
and we don't know, and that's if you really want to live into a mystery of not knowing what was happening.
yeah.
I've always felt that's where it was.
Well, and there's nothing more disconcerting than silence, especially for us preachers or us podcasters, dead air is you don't want that. But there's also nothing more mysterious and inviting because you fill the space with something. What do you fill the space with, right? Let there be songs to fill the air. If you get confused, listen to the music play. There's always music playing.
Yeah. And it's that soundtrack that we have.
Yeah.
Um, and I always feel that we all have that. We have our music. And when we're in times of distress and trouble, I think back to an old Saturday Night Live episode where Dan Aykroyd was playing Jimmy Carter. And it was a call-in show, and somebody called him up saying he was having a bad trip, and Jimmy just advised him, calm down, put on some Allman Brothers. It was like, yeah, that's the, if you're in uh, even classic movies, think of Casablanca. Play that song for me again. I
Yeah.
want to hear that song
Yeah.
again. And I think that's an instinct we have. You and I, unfortunately, for some and some views, but I've always, and I'm pretty sure we're probably on the same page. I always have viewed it as a blessing to be able to say some final words about someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always amazed when I find that I'm going to be able to say the last words to somebody who loved music, because the people who knew them best said, these are the songs. When I'm left to pick the songs, I always feel like, what am I grasping at? What am I trying to do? But when the family brings those songs to you at the funeral home or whatever and says, these are the ones. And I've heard some strange ones. I know a guy that loved animals and who let the dogs out. It was played at his funeral. And then to me, it was like, it spoke beautiful things. This is the guy that, everybody knew him that loved. He loved dogs. He had all kinds of them. He fostered them. He donated, spent time volunteering. So who let the dogs out? What better song was there for a man?
Yeah.
But who needs to hear the old Red Cross again?
Right.
So I think that it would not be unusual for a lot of people. I'll give you some advice, folks. If you think there ever might be a service like that coming up in your future, pick your songs. Let us know. I think that would be an important thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a gift. It's a gift you give to those who love you to to release them. And I've always hated that poem. Don't stand at my grave and weep. I'm not here. The thing, because because who am I to tell you now that I'm free from this mortal coil that you shouldn't be grieving? I'm not going to tell you how to feel. All those funerals, people are sad. People are grieving. That's what you're supposed to do. That's natural. There's a time when that changes, but we all go through it. And those who release people to say it'll be okay, be you, just be you, and remember me. I want people after me to complete the work that I start. That's how you honor me.
Yeah.
I want to be about stuff that matters now, and I just run out of time. And other people say, "We're doing this because he wanted it done," and that's how we honor him. That if I could be a brick in the cathedral that I don't get to worship in, um, that's okay. I want to be part of that. I want to be part of the change. So maybe we're building Franklin's tower, right? Maybe that's the tower.
Yeah, maybe it is. I often tell people we're in that grief stage, and it's true every time. You're not supposed to be good at this.
Mhm.
Nobody be good at losing someone. And it goes back to that lyric: when you get confused, listen to the music play. And you'll see sometimes during a memorial service or something, you can see the music moving the family and bringing them some comfort. And music is a wonderful tool. Obviously, we're talking a lot about it
Yeah.
here, and good faith. It's what keeps us going. It's what keeps people like Manya going. Is this groove that we share? What a great jam! And Franklin's Tower. Oh,
Yeah. Yep.
blowing away the dew.
Yep.
Blowing away the stone. Yeah. We
Yeah.
gotta get
Yeah.
that going. So,
Lots of stuff needs to get rolled away. I like the song so much. We've been talking about this that it's really musically. It's something about it. I like the jam. I like the sound. It makes me want to move. My office here, the studios of Pandion Productions. I'm in an attic office here at my house. I'm on the third floor, so I like to refer to it as Franklin's Tower. This is my Franklin's Tower, and on the stairs going down, I keep wanting to write on right above the stairway going out. If you get confused, listen to the music play. You can't go wrong if you can do that. And it shouldn't be if you get confused. It should be when you get confused, because that's life's journey, isn't it?
mhm. That's a theme, through a lot of the Dead songs is this: explore, listen, but you don't have to have all the answers. Let's just keep doing this journey and this thing together. So, well, Ian, I appreciate you more than you know. This is fun. We got more content coming up for people soon, and again, thank you to Manya for her wonderful, wonderful interview. I look forward to getting to know more about her and hearing her stories, and I appreciate all of her perspective on things. And hopefully, we will see you again real soon here on A Lovely View of Heaven. This is Reverend Andy Campbell, the Deadhead Rev, and my friend, Reverend Ian Lynch, our producer. If you like us, let us know, share, subscribe. We look forward to seeing you for the next episode. Hey, if you're interested in being a part of things, if you have a particular song that you like, let us know in the comments. You never know. I have more fun getting to meet strangers rather than people I've known. I already know those stories, and I like the surprise of hearing your road stories and why the song means something to you. So again, subscribe, like, share. We look forward to your comments, and we will see you next time. Again, every once in a while, you get shown the light in the strangest of places.